Hi, I'm Richard Staveley, the fund manager of Rockwood Strategic, which is an investment trust listed on the UK Stock Exchange and is the best performing UK equity fund in the last 5 years. I run the fund from Harbour Capital. This is a British business which takes very seriously investment performance, integrity, and this country. In the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about the opportunities in UK smaller company shares, how we go about picking the very best ones, and a bit more about ourselves. The Duke of Wellington, Lewis Hamilton, Sir Isaac Newton, the Mini, the microchip, the paperclip. Small can also be great, just like Britain. Why UK smaller companies? Well, the statistics are incredible. The London Business School has been tracking the performance of the bottom 2% of the UK stock market since 1955. And over that period, it's compounded so that £1,000 would have grown to 29.1 million. That's just the average, not the best UK smaller company share. Now, large company shares did well too. £1,000 would have become 1.9 million. But you can see the small companies' effect and its outperformance. Now, that's a long time series, but real investors aren't speculators. They know that creating wealth is a multi-year process where returns can compound and you need patience. Why such great returns? You know, it's simple. Small companies can grow a lot faster. They're more agile, they are less bureaucratic, they're closer to their customers, they can innovate and introduce new products quickly and faster. UK small companies, there's a huge amount of choice. Hundreds indeed of these companies, all generating lots of free cash flow. That free cash flow can be used for reinvesting into companies, buying new ones through acquisition, or returning to shareholders. UK small companies don't need to be a bet on the British economy. Lots of them are very exposed to international markets and opportunities. Now, obviously, some of them overstate their prospects, and some will indeed fail. And that's why it's probably the best idea to find an experienced, dedicated, aligned fund manager who can build a portfolio of the very best ones. Now, they are the best of the best, the people that run these businesses. They're our smartest, they're our most able, creative, ambitious. They also have to be super transparent with our fantastic accounting rules and our excellent corporate governance for which they have to conform. They can also benefit from the fantastic advisory firms that we excel at in the UK. Big is not necessarily more beautiful. From acorns grow oak trees, Rockwood Strategic. So how do we assess the best UK smaller company opportunities? Well, firstly, we're passionate about value. We want to buy something at a big discount to its intrinsic or fair value. We want to buy £1 for 50p. Secondly, we only want to buy shares that we conservatively calculate have at least 100% upside. Thirdly, we want to invest in companies over the medium term, 3 to 5 years. Shares that double over 5 years deliver a 15% average return a year. That's our goal. Fourthly, we have a bias to companies whose recent performance has actually been poor, where they've either had operational issues, there've been management problems, maybe external matters, or they've made a strategic error. Often it's just a mix of all of the above. What we then do is assess whether there's recovery potential. And then if there is, we exploit the depressed share price that typically occurs as a result, the low valuation and the low level of profitability. What that then needs is change. Change to unlock the shareholder value for investors. Now, this can happen in two ways. Either we are the catalysts, Rockwood will actually engage with the board and shareholders and other stakeholders in order to catalyse change to do that. Or alternatively, it's happening already, but people haven't noticed, or they're just complacent, or they ignore it, or they're too skeptical. And it's that which we ourselves exploit. Our portfolio construction is simple. We have a concentrated portfolio. The top 10 holdings add up to the majority of the capital in the fund. And then we have a further 10 to 20 smaller investments which can become larger over time. That level of concentration is differentiated from our peers. So it gives us more time for due diligence, more time for monitoring our existing investments, and more time for engagement. It also means there's a very high hurdle to get into the best of the best in the Rockwood portfolio. We're passionate about value. We're investors, not traders. We look for catalysts in companies because we mainly invest in recovery situations where we want things to change. And we're differentiated because we are very engaged with the investments that we make. In fact, we are truly active investors. Rockwood Strategic. The fund manager for Rockwood Strategic is Harbour Capital, specifically myself, Richard Staveley. Harbour Capital was set up by Christopher Mills. He's a veteran investor with over 50 years of investing experience. He has a passion for small cap and active investing, and that's ingrained in the DNA of Harbour Capital. His long-term performance has few rivals. Harbour Capital is a hybrid business. Christopher has backed a number of entrepreneurial investment teams in which the family have invested. They now span private equity, private credit, property, global and UK equities. We have a great shared network and expertise, which is a great help for Rockwood Strategic. I also have an investment advisory group of over 6 industry stalwarts with a combined experience of over 200 years. They have fantastic careers and have all run funds exposed to the UK stock market. They've seen everything, these guys, literally Big Bang to the credit crisis, the TMT bubble to AI adoption, from Thatcher to Truss to Trump. And they're a great sounding board for my portfolio and also the pipeline. I became a fund manager in 1999 after I'd qualified as a chartered accountant. Started work on this strategy in 2019. I've got a great working environment, a fantastic strategy that's very clear and meets my DNA as an investor. A lot's happened in the last 30 years. But I have to say, the opportunity set now is as great as it's ever been. So those best-in-class returns should be able to continue. I've personally invested significant amounts in the shares of Rockwood Strategic, as has Christopher. So we're really aligned with shareholders. We've got proper skin in the game. Interested in joining us as a shareholder of Rockwood Strategic? Why not check us out on our website, or maybe sign up to our mailing list? We'll be looking for the next best UK small cap winners for Rockwood Strategic.